Good morning. I thought I would go over lesson 82 with you on greatest common factor today. So you know how to do this, but I'm going to show you what they're talking about. So if we were factoring these two numbers, 1, 2, 2 goes into 6 evenly, 3 goes into 6 evenly, and 6. And then on 9, of course, 1, but 2 doesn't go in, but 3 does. And then 9. So the greatest common factor is what they have in common, which is 3. So 3 is the greatest common factor. Let's do 6 and 12. 1, of course, and we know 6, so we'll do 2, 3, and 6. 12, 1, 2, 3 goes into 12 evenly, 4 goes into 12 evenly, 6 goes into 12 evenly, and then 12 because we've reached the halfway point, remember? So we have 1, 2, 3, and 6. 6 is the greatest number that goes into both, so 6 is our greatest common factor. Let's do a little bigger one. 15. 1, 2 doesn't go in evenly, 3 does, 4 doesn't, but 5 does, 6 doesn't, 7 doesn't, 8 doesn't, and now we've reached the halfway point of 15, so we can just go ahead and put 15 in. Let's go to 100. Of course, 1 does. It's an even number, so we know 2 does, 3 doesn't, 4, yes, 4 does, 5 goes in evenly, 6 doesn't go in evenly, or 7, or 8, or 9, but 10 goes in evenly. And then 20, because 20 times 5 is 100. And then 25, because 25 times 4 is 100. And then 50, because 50 times 2, and this is the halfway point, so we can go to 100. And 100 times 1. What do they have in common? What's their greatest common factor? Well, it has to be one of these numbers, and so it's 5. Okay? That's the greatest common factor. Now I'm going to work on a couple of problems I noticed when I went over the lesson that I thought you might have a little trouble with. So here we go. I'm looking at number 6. And on number 6 it says, if one side of a regular octagon is 12 inches long, then what is the perimeter of the octagon? Well, first of all, think about it. How many sides does an octagon have? 8, that's right. So we need number 8, and each side is 12 inches long. So we just take 12 times 8. 96. Don't forget to label. 96 inches. Then number 8 is from our lesson today. It asks for the greatest common factor of 20 and 30. You may be pretty good at these now. Let's try it. 1, it's an even number, so 2. 3 doesn't go in. 4, yes, 4 times, that's right, 5. And then 10 is halfway, and then 20. On 30, it's 1. 2 times what gives us 30? 15. So we know 15 is going to be in there. 10 times 3, 10 is in there. 15, that's halfway, so now we're ready for 30. So what is the greatest common factor? Do you see it? 10. 10 is the greatest common factor. Then it asks us to use that 10 to reduce this fraction. So let's take 20 over 30 divided by the greatest common factor, 10 over 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 30 divided by 10 is 3. So the answer is 2/3. Okay, the first part of the question, A, wants to know the 10. And then B is when you divide by the 10, you get 2/3. Okay? Another problem that I thought we should go over is one that we just had on Monday. So let's try that. Number 10. Which transformation moves the blue triangle to the position of the gray triangle? Okay, I don't have a graph up here, but let's talk about it. Translation, that means that the object has slid over. Does it look like in this one that the object has slid over? Let's see, I'll draw it the best I can. You guys know I can't draw. Does it look like, in order for this triangle to move to this one, that it just slid over? No. So it's not A, translation. B says rotation. Does it look like this triangle has just turned to get to this position? I think so. So let's put B here. I think it's that one, but I'm going to check the other two. A reflection is just like looking in the mirror. And it doesn't look like this has just flipped over to be a reflection. And D says flip. No. So here we go. 10 is B. I noticed on the last assignment that I graded that a couple of you were not sure about this problem. So look at number 13. The book wants you to compare. Some of you are still doing 2 times 3 instead of 2 times 2 times 2 and 3 times 2. That's not correct. It's 2 3s, not 3 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So this is really 8. And 3 times 3 is 9. So if you were to compare those two, 8 is less than 9. That's the answer, okay? Well, I believe that's all for the first 15 questions. Tomorrow I'll work on 16 through 30 with you. Have a good day and know that we're missing you here. It's too quiet. Bye.